Hello guys, this is Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. Today I'm going to be still working on the cow. As you can see, I have the ears and the horns on, the nose ring, and today I'll primarily be working on the eyes. So I'll get the camera set up so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, because I want to show you guys how we make eyes, like for our dogs or cats. And if we do any other, like animal or whatever, we make our eyes in a certain way. You come with your own ideas, but I'm just kind of showing you guys how we do it. It might not be the best way, but it's how we've been doing it for quite a while now. And as you can see, I got the horns on, got the ears on. I went ahead and in the last video, I think it was, or video before last, I said I'd probably MIG weld the whole thing. But I went ahead, I just MIG welded this upper portion on camera, but then the rest of it I went ahead and just TIG welded, because I didn't want to get spatter, going everywhere, and then the welds be too high, because I wasn't sure we were going to put the eyes on, and I didn't want weld, to be coming in contact with the eyes and all that kind of stuff. Again, if this was my project, I would know exactly where I want to put things, and I would have went ahead and MIG welded it. But since I'm working with my wife and son, I just went ahead and kind of just left room for however they want to do it. My wife gave me the idea of where she wanted the eyes, or where they wanted the eyes anyway. So I'll be showing you guys how we put the eyes together, and then I'll mount them on there and go ahead and weld them on, let you guys see me do that. And then later on, either in this video or the next one, I'll have my son come out, and he'll be welding the head on to the body. Then we got to come up with a tail. It can't just be some little thing. We got to come up with something, a little special, because I don't like just doing just any old thing. So I'm not sure how we're going to do it yet, but we'll come up with something. So let me go ahead and get the camera a little bit closer, and I'll be setting this up so you guys can see, how I do the eyes. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So as you can see, I have 4 eyes. Like I said, with the cow's head, we're going to have both sides of the head the same. So if a person's approaching it from the left side, the face will be the same as if they're approaching from the right side, so it doesn't matter. So what I have here are some, these might be 3/8 or 1/2 inch steel balls. And then we have these nuts. You can get these like Home Depot, Lowe's, it doesn't really matter. And so what we do is we'll set the nut down, put the ball bearing in there, and then we just weld it on the bottom. Wherever the bottom's going to be, we'll weld it, on the bottom. So in this case, it's down here. It's in this portion down here. So I'll be putting my heat in this portion, welding the ball to the inner wall of the nut. And I'll be using 309 stainless steel rod. This is probably just an alloy nut. It's not coated with zinc or anything, because I don't want those fumes getting up my nose and every place else. So I don't know exactly what they're made of, but it does not have a zinc, nor does it have a galvanized coating on it. So what I'll do is I have my welder set to 90 amps, and what I'll be doing is just heating up both the steel ball and the inner wall of the nut. Just heating them up, then I'll dip my rod. And if I do this enough, if I'm working on something and I do it enough, I'll get my timing down to when the balls start changing colors, I can start matching, the balls. Like if I want these eyes blue, I can do that. If I want these eyes purple, or like a yellow or gold or whatever color, if I do this enough, I can get my timing down to get the colors I want. Like when I'm making a lot of dogs or cats, whatever, I can, once I do a few, I have my timing down with my torch, and I'll know how much heat to put into it to get the eyes to change to different colors. But since I haven't done this in a while, and I'm really not interested in a lot of color, because I will only be doing these two sets, I won't really have time to really get my timing and my color, because I want to get this out of my way. So what I do is I just get some tungsten stick out, and I'll get it in there just to see if I'm in the corners good, because I want to be pretty deep in the corners in here, right down in that little seam in there, as much as I can anyway. And then I'll go ahead and just put a bead of weld in there. Make sure it's in there nice and firm, because I don't want these eyes, the balls falling out of the nut. So I'll try to get in there pretty firm. So let me do one, just see what kind of adjustments I need to make. I just want to get it back here so I can see it a little bit better. And I usually use a make water to do this, but but today I'll just go ahead and take it, because normally when I have a lot of these to do, I'll just take the make water and just put it in there and just tack it. But since I'm only doing a few, I'll just use my the TIG. Let me kick my heat up a little bit. Kick up about 95. I'm gonna go back in, hit it again. And at this point, it is hot. And so I'll just move the next one into position and do the same thing. But what you'll notice, if I can flip this over without burning my hand, if you can see a little arc marks. But in a situation like that, case like that, I'll just get a dull flap disc and just kind of knock that off of there without touching that ball, as much as I possibly can. Just knock that off. Just clean it up a little bit. This one is turning slightly blue, but had I left my heat in there longer, it would have been a darker blue, or would have got the purple and all these other really nice colors. All right, next one. Just add a little bit more. Now this one is going to probably have a pretty interesting color, because the ball turned orange as I was welding it. So sometime it'll come out purple, and sometime it'll come out looking gray or kind of hazy. It just depends. So what I'll do is go back in with this one and just kind of heat it up a little bit more, just get those eyes to be somewhat close in color. And it amazes me that when you really mess up an eye or something and it looks really ugly, those are the dogs or cats that the people go after because they feel sorry for it and they want it. They want it to, when we're selling these things, we say come and adopt a dog or cat. People love it. So the ones with the most flaws is the one that the people want to buy. The more perfect ones, it's hard to sell them. So when you have an eye that's a little bit different, than one eye is a little bit different than the other one, like this eye looks almost blind because it's kind of has kind of a haze on it, where the other eye looks more clear. People go for this. They'll love this eye because it looks like something is wrong with the animal, so they'll want to adopt it a lot faster. All right, let me do this one. This one went orange as well. And it's just a matter of me keeping the heat on it longer. All right, last one. And I have my writing on the bottom side of this. And that lets me know to weld down here because this portion of the nut will be on the bottom. This is the top up here, and this is the bottom. And the other reason I didn't necessarily want to use my MIG welder is because when these lay on the cow's face, I need all of this to be level and smooth. With the dogs and cats, I can have a high weld in this spot, a little hump there, because it'll be standing more on edge. So with the dogs and cats, it stands more like this. This is the top of their head here, and it stands on top of their head. Then the ears are back here. But with the cow, the eyes will be laying flat on the face. So that's why I need this backside to be smooth. So next step will be me setting the cow's head up, and I'll put these in place, and then I'll TIG weld them in a couple spots. All right, so as you can see, I just have some permanent marker lines here. Just making sure these eyes, when I put them on here, they'll be straight. They won't be one down lower than the other. So I'm just measuring in. We're measuring in about an inch from the outer edge here on both sides. And about, I don't know, an inch and a half, inch and a quarter from the top edge coming down. So what I'll do is take an eye, my writing is on the bottom, lay it in here, and I have a mark in this position. I guess I would call it I would just call it vertical, this way, and I have horizontal lines going this way. So I'm putting the point of this nut on this line and coming up and I'm touching that vertical mark I have. And then I just got to come in here and make sure the eye is on the line here. When I say outer edge, I'm just talking about this edge right here. I want that edge on that line. So I'll do it on both sides, making sure my letters are on the bottom and my weld bead is on the bottom when I put it on here. Because I don't want people to know even how it's even on there. So let me just get it lined up. Just get them as good as I possibly can anyway. Don't have to be perfect. I just want them to be the same distance from this outer edge on both eyes. All right. And now that I've done that, what I'll do is I'll put a bead on the bottom, or just a tack on the bottom, tack on the top, in this position in here and down here. And once I get it on, then I'll go ahead and weld. I'll only weld the bottom and the top, but I'll weld a full bead across that whole flat spot. But for now, I'm just going to kind of tack it on there. And I'm using a 1/16 diameter, what is this? ER70S6. I can use ER70S2, 3, 6. I could use the 309 stainless wire. But in here, when I weld that, I want the portion that's connected to the face to kind of rust and blend in with the face. If I use 309, you see that weld because it won't rust over. It'll take a long time anyway for it to rust over. And I don't want that. So let me get in here and just touch this up real quick. See if I can get a bead in here or a tack. Okay, got one. And two. Okay, so that's tacked up. Now I'm gonna put a tack on the top, because if I weld down here, this eye is gonna pull away from the face. It's gonna raise up this way. So I'll go over on this side, make sure it's down to the face, and I'll tack that side. The challenge is doing this without getting my ring on the table and arcing that ring, because I don't want any arc marks on this ring, because then I'll have to go in with a grinder and grind the arc mark off, and I'm putting marks in here. I have a few spatter marks, but I might be able to take a screwdriver or something, just kind of knock those off, because they shouldn't be on there, that deep. They shouldn't be burned in that deep anyway. All right, let me see how I can do this. So if you can see that. And and I'll give you a better picture of it when I get it done, get it set up better. All right. So hopefully you can kind of see this. I have it setting on my table vise. Because again, I just do not want that ring arcing on that table. So I just had a ring free, just kind of free flowing down there. So what I'll do now is I'm gonna go in and just TIG the top of this eye. Let me get some more light over here. All right, here we go. All right, got that one. I think I put one more little dab on the end here. All right, that one. Now what I'm doing is, guys, just staying right in that little seam there. I'm at 95 amps, full pedal. Okay, if you can see that. You can see that I just went right across the top with a little bead. So I'll do the same thing on the bottom of it now, just make sure it's in there and won't be falling out at a show. 'Cause that's one of the most embarrassing things you can do, is be at a show and your artwork start breaking apart in front of customers. Not good. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing here. And I'm not going to heat that bead up that I made down here, because that bead will if I heat it up, the bead will come loose. And there's so much heat on the top right now that it's gonna pull it up. So I'm gonna go off to the side of that bead and make another bead and then start running my weld. Just so that bead won't come loose and pull away from the face. All right, got that one. And now the same thing, I'm gonna start away from that bead so it won't come loose. All right, guys, so that's how we do it. I'm just gonna flip it over to the other side and do the same thing. Nothing special or anything, it's just once you do it a certain way, this is how we do it. So I'll be working upside down this time. So I gotta remember to put my tack on that bottom. And I gotta get my ruler and measure from this outer edge to about 1 inch in on each side. I was supposed to do that earlier, but I forgot. But I remembered, which is a good thing, before I tacked it in. So I'm just getting my ruler and taking it out to about 1 inch. Right about there. To make it easier, I just flipped it around because I had it on the vise. But when I put the eye on there, it was sliding because the vise had it too much of an angle on it. So now I'm working from the opposite side, opposite direction now. All right, let me find my inch mark about there. All right, that one. And let's see here. All right, that's pretty good. And I put the horizontal line there just so I can line these points up again to make sure the eyes are not, one down, one up, one crooked or whatever. I want them to be lined up pretty good. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. And we just, I think I mentioned maybe the last video that we were headed out to Cancun. So we just got back a couple days ago. So I had to get back out here and try and finish this up so I can move on to the next project. So what I'm gonna do here is just put another tack on the bottom like I did before, and then go ahead and run a bead on the top. All right, got that bead. What I think I'm going to do this time is get some lacquer thinner and get this permanent marker off of here, because on the other side it's probably burned in to the metal. So I'll probably get it like a Scotch-Brite or something, try and get that out on the other side. But let me go ahead and do that now while I'm thinking about it. All right, hopefully I can get this off of here. All right, good. Came right off on this side. But the other side will probably be a different story. Because there's so much heat that it more than likely baked in. Good. I was able to get most of it. But normally what will happen, guys, is when you put marker on there, somewhere around your welt, and you welt that area, the air will get so hot that permanent marker will start baking into the metal. It'll become permanent unless you take a grinding disc and knock it off of there. Other than that, you have marker on your piece. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on the vise now. Just make sure my ring is clear of everything. And then what I'll be doing is just welding a complete bead on the top. I tacked on the bottom, so I'll go ahead now and just weld a complete bead on top. Cancun was a nice trip, but it's when I'm away from my what I do, I just don't feel quite right. So I had to hurry up and get back here to get my hands dirty. I think I said in the last video we just came back from Orlando, Florida, where we had 2 sculptures installed in a city right next to Orlando called Mount Dora. So that was about a week that we were there, 5 days, whatever it was. And being away from working here, and then I come back, a week and a half later we're gone again to Cancun. So that was tough, guys. Being gone from what I love to do that long. But I was with my family. We had a good time. I don't really go into the water, but they were in the water doing their thing, and I was just kind of doing my thing. Which was sitting around watching videos, just doing this little stuff, just learning new stuff, that kind of thing. But this is what I love doing right here. All right, let me go in here and hit this. All right, last one. All right. So the eyes are in place. All right, guys, so there you have it. That's the cow's head. Completed, for the most part. Might have a little bit of spatter here and there to go and clean off or whatever. But the eyes are attached, the horns, if you will, the ears, the ring. So now it's a matter of having to weld the head to the body. Then, like I said, make a tail, and then the legs and the hoofs, and that'll pretty much be it for this cow. I'm gonna let you guys get a little closer view of it, of the head. All right, so this is what it looks like, guys. I'll move my hand out of the way. That's what it looks like. That'll be, say, the right side. And this will be the left side. The only difference is the ears. This side, the ears are smooth. We're looking at it from this angle. And from this angle, you have the bends in the ear. I'll let you see it kind of from a top view. That's what it looks like on the top. So everything is pretty much the same except where the ears hook. And again, I have this side is flat, so this will be the outer portion. And then the head will sit on the body down this 1/4 inch opening that I have here. So we'll set on the body, and my son will just MIG weld it all the way down onto the body, and that'll complete, the installation of the head. So all right, guys, so that's going to do it for this video. And on the next video, my son and I should be out here trying to weld his head onto the body, and then we got to come up with the ideal for the tail. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do it yet. I may even get some 2/0 or 0/0 or something wire, and weld it to it, somehow, just something like that. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. And I hope you're able to learn something. Now the nuts we use, I think they're like 5/8 or something like that, and the inside is somewhere close to 3/8, something like that. But I think the steel balls are like 3/8. But you come up with your own idea, but that's how we do it. And all right, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. And I hope to see you on the next one. And as usual, peace out.